the Miller School. All, and the meeting is open. So we'll move ahead to the approval of the minutes. Any comments?
Move to be approved.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Any nays? Minutes are approved. Next is the school report.
Okay, Commissioner Laurie, Danny Miller and I met with Charlie Douglas via Zoom Wednesday the 11th. We met for about an hour. We discussed the title report. It had just come out, like minutes before almost. We discussed its significance and the plans are moving forward on how we can tell our story of partnerships and acquisition of the Miller School. It was concluded Charlie Douglas would present to the school board when the time comes, very likely in January, and that John Newbold would report to the city commission prior to that and ask for a contract. Commissioner Laurie and Danny Miller and I may have, and Danny Miller may have additional comments on that meeting. I want to make another point. I feel like I have let Mayor Michelle Myers down in not keeping her in a line of communication open. She must be kept up to date. I think I should meet with her regularly and bring her up to date on the Blue Ribbon Committee's progress. I also think I should be at all the city commission meetings when we know the Blue Ribbon Committee reports might be on the agenda, which will likely be all of the city commission meetings. I will make every effort to do that. Now, a third point, Commissioner Laurie and I have an appointment to meet with Superintendent Surency and Mr. Bowling on January 2nd to bring them up to date on the newest developments with the Blue Ribbon Committee and particularly on the title search development. That is my report.
Thank you, John. Any questions or comments?
I could just add that I think the meeting with Charlie Douglas went very well. He seems to understand, our struggle or our case and agrees and kind of has some suggestions and has been very helpful. So very encouraged. It was a good call. It was a good hour spent. So
Yes, I agree. It was a good meeting.
Thank you, Commissioner, for that fine update. And next we have a title report.
well, you guys all, did you forward that to everybody? So everyone's received that. It's amazing how long we've been waiting for it and how really short it is. I mean, there's not a lot to it except for, obviously all the work that went behind it, that was all, a lot. All those deeds that are attached. There's still there was some fine tuning, I think, that we still had Mr. Gullett do, and I'm still waiting for an answer on one thing. But, it gives us a rundown of where the property, or how the property became the property of the school district. And there's some other notes that I'll be able to make on that too. But you'll notice that, most of the pieces of property of the main, both parcel A and B were at some point passed through the city's ownership, which is always interesting because it either was bought by the city and the town council president and then immediately sold to the school district, or part like in parcel B of the south half of that block, was given to the school or given to the city, and the city gave it to the school district. So that's all part of our kind of our story and our argument is that, a majority of that property was given to the school district. And, of course, parcel C was all purchased by them, so, but that we know now really the provenance, I guess, of most of those pieces of property and all the streets that were there, which is what I had on my map. The one thing you couldn't find, which I was kind of disappointed in, was that portion of South Lake Street that is between the school and Sunrise Park. Because that park was always there, that was platted in the original plat for Crescent City. And so that portion of South Park Street was vacated apparently by the city commission in like 1903. And he was not able to find records of that. But from everything that we've gotten from the school district and looking at the property lines, they've included that as part of the property for years, because that's where the back entrance is that is the parking lot behind the media center there. And then there's an extra 50 feet that was added onto that, which we have the records of that. I don't know why he didn't include that in the title search as well, so. But, it gives us, at least it's legitimate now. We have all the backup from what, I've known and shared with you guys for a while. And we kind of have the real chain of custody, I guess, if you could call it that. So that's not, I don't think, have we got an ability from that? Yes, I told him to send it to you, so you just keep an eye out for it. Because we gotta pay for that for ARPA funds.
Commissioner, we as a committee and individual members on the committee have been saying all along that this is a very unique situation so far as the school goes. Not only in the county, but probably in the state. And what this report does, it just verifies what we've been saying, and sometimes it felt like we were speculating, but this verifies that almost all of this property was in the hands of the city and given to the district. So I think it's good news. So
I'm sorry.
we won't be going on speculation, we'll be going on facts.
Right. I mean, it's good that we also have all the, copies of the deeds and stuff like that. So it was a long time coming, but we got the information we needed, I think, so.
When did we first request the title review?
It was in October, I believe. Was it?
Early October.
Early
Early
October.
October.
Because that was at the October commission meeting that the city commission approved it.
Oh, thank you. Any questions? REG report. We're waiting for the scanning.
Yeah,
Correct.
the scanning should be done. I mean, he came up and did that all in one day. So I believe the next part, according to their schedule, would be meeting with us. And I think that's supposed to be in January.
But after the first of the year, I say.
Yes.
Thank you. Any new items for our timeline? Partnerships. Any update? Old business.
I reached out to former Mayor Watts to see if he had any contact information for Johnny Morris. I have not received a call back yet, but I left him a voicemail yesterday, so I will keep on that. And that's it. It was one of the things that, three of you were there at the commission meeting, and then the rest of you, I believe, got to see it on TV. And it was, the commission, the other commissioners, I guess I can just talk about this now, conveyed their, I don't know how to best say it, their questions about moving forward with this. with this project. And, I mean, first I felt a little bit attacked. I think I don't know. But more than that, you know, I tried to get the point across that we worked on. I mean, Commissioner DeVito was there to back me up. And, you know, one of those things that they keep asking about are partnerships, but they're also were kind of chastising me for going out and talking to people and representing the city commission or the city. And I explained the same thing that, you know, I do when I talk to somebody, that I'm not speaking for the city or the city commission. I'm one of 5 commissioners, but I'm just, you know, opening a line of communication like I did with, you know, Joe Pickens and I've done with other people. And so, you know, one of those things is I can't make those agreements, but we need to talk to those people. And if we wait until we close on the property a year from now or something, then it's, you know, going to start from scratch. So.
Commissioner O'Leary, you did an excellent job in explaining. And certainly the other commissioners were seeking more knowledge. And Joan, I think your idea of communication.
I think it's a matter, you know, any project like this, communication is the bottom issue. And I feel like I have really let this committee down by not going to the mayor more often, and I should do that. And
Well, allow me to say, I don't think that you've got to let the committee or anyone down. I think what you're doing is you're offering to step up to provide what shouldn't really need to be provided, in my opinion.
But if there's misunderstanding, we need to correct that. And I think all we need to do as a committee is just keep going and doing what we're doing. We're doing a good job, and we'll make every effort to include them in the circle so they understand what's going on. I think that's the bottom line.
And I would agree.
Communication is important, so they understand, the whole commission.
And I would agree, John. I don't think you've let anybody down. You've been pulling a lot of weight for us, and I appreciate it. And we've gotten very far because of you. So
Somebody wants to speak.
I also like to say that the title opinion was crucial in a milestone.
Yes.
And of course, we had to wait for that. And we heard in our reporting that it was going to be any moment. And that any moment took much longer than any of us suspected. But now we have it, now we can move forward. And is there,
Well, I had a comment, an observation.
Michael, would you come up to the podium, please? State your name.
Michael Frank, 83 Lakeshore Drive. I just wanted to say, everyone on the committee is doing a great job, ladies and gentlemen. And I think just keep going. And I don't know, and here's my question. Does anything preclude from the mayor from coming and sitting like she's in the public, from sitting in on this committee at all?
I mean,
Why, as long as I've been coming, I've never seen her once sit here in the audience, just even for a few brief minutes to kind of get the gist of what's going on. So.
Well, I'm
You're
sure
doing
that
good.
she watches it on YouTube, like many do.
it does kind of start getting gray areas with Sunshine, because if she's here and I'm talking about something and what.
She can't be a part
Yeah,
of it.
she can't hear me, because then I'm conveying something. Well, actually, it's in a public forum. So I mean, she could sit down.
She could be a citizen
Yeah,
and not the
I think
mayor.
it's actually fine, yeah, because it is in a public, I mean, it's in the Sunshine.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And any other commissioner for that matter, where have they been during this whole process?
Yeah.
Except to critique perhaps.
You know,
So anyway, keep up the great work. We're supporting you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
the reason we're meeting here formally is because of the sunshine law. If it weren't for that, we could meet in any venue and probably get our work done quicker.
Yeah.
But the sunshine law states we have to do it this way. And I'm not against the sunshine law, it makes everything open, above board, all that's good. But that's the reason we're meeting like this.
It does make things complicated sometimes, but that's, when you're doing the people's business, that's,
We can't
It
change
is
it,
complicated.
it's the law,
The way it is.
we're gonna follow it.
yeah.
Any further comments? Thank you. Moving on, new business?
Old business?
Yeah, old business
Old
first.
business thing?
Oh, I'm sorry, old business.
Thank you, Dan. Last week, you might recall, I offered to look into other institutions for offering ecotourism programs. And what I found is that we may not be quite as ahead of the curve as I thought we were a couple of weeks ago when I suggested it. But we're certainly not behind the curve. We may be actually right on it, which is a very good place to be, because it means that this whole thing may require less salesmanship than I had feared. In other words, these programs already exist. Now, they're few and far between. Most of them are not true programs, but individual courses offered by institutions around the country. And most of those institutions are surprisingly small and private. So these look like experimental little forays into a new area. Because I found, with my experience in trade, that a lot of pioneering work is done by small, private, risk-taking organizations. They just have less administrative inertia than the big universities, especially big state universities. University of Florida is rather a case in point. They offer a course in ecotourism, and they offer a bachelor's of science in tourism and hospitality management, okay, in their department of tourism, hospitality, and event management, okay, which is under their College of Health and Human Performance. It's not in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, and it's not in the. It's not under the College of Forest Resources and Conservation. It's in one of their lesser colleges. It's a tourism course. It's a hospitality program. And this ecotourism thing is kind of a spin-off of that. And that's true of all of the actual programs that I saw. Program being a space course, a whole curriculum of courses that a student can major in. That's the difference between a program and a course. So we have quite a few courses. We have very few programs. And the few programs that I find are all in hospitality. The emphasis is on tourism. It is not on eco, okay? So the eco part of ecotourism is really just kind of the product that's being sold to the clientele. To me, as a biologist with 3 degrees in different areas of biological sciences, I'm a pretty heavy science major. This to me is tantamount to training a car salesman by teaching him all about the buyers and not about the cars. It's an odd approach to me, but that's what the market is doing. So ecotourism courses exist. They are management courses. Ecotourism programs exist. They are hospitality management programs with a nod to ecology. There is one that's very close to home at Florida Keys Community College, formerly known. It has now become the College of the Florida Keys as of 2019, when all 27 community colleges were upgraded by the state to be part of the state college system. Okay. Daytona Beach Community College became Daytona State College. St. John's River, same thing. So the College of the Florida Keys does have an Associate of Science degree, a 2-year degree, not 4-year, in hospitality and ecotourism management, which I find to be aptly named. Okay. The courses I have copied to you, a list of the courses. The general education requirements, which are required by Florida state law, 15 credit hours. We see the usual English composition, college algebra. 3 credit hours in the natural sciences, 3 credit hours in the humanities. This is a bare minimum requirement by the state. And then they also throw in a macroeconomics course, a good idea for marketing. Okay, that's the skeletal requirement for general ed. Maybe you can take those to justify any degree at all. Okay, the core requirements are listed at the bottom of the page. This is the needed program, 45 credit hours, and if you look at those, they're almost entirely in hospitality. Okay, so this, according to their spin on it, is a hospitality program. They have a financial accounting course, they have a computer course. They have one course that could be called a biology course, marine ecology for tourism professionals. Okay, now that would not qualify as a majors course for a bio major. That's admittedly a watered down non-science majors course, but at least it's got something ecological in it. So there is some science there. But we can see what we're looking at. This is a hospitality program. Now, our version of it doesn't have to mimic that, but I think we would be well advised to come close to it because this one has already been approved by the state. Okay. One of the big roadblocks to experimentation and bringing in new programs is getting past the paperwork required by the State Department of Education. I've done it, it's awful, okay? If you can clone somebody else's program, you can go to work next semester, and all you have to do is hire the faculty. You can do it on a part-time adjunct basis and start signing up students, and you can go to work within weeks. So the roadmap has been laid for us, and we are free to elaborate on this or modify it in small ways to get it to a version that we can live with academically. But the path has been cut for us. Also, since this is as far south in Florida as you can get, it's so far away that there would be no competition for students. State DOE could not accuse us of trying to move in on anybody's territory. The reason their eco course is marine ecology is because they're in the ocean, right? We're in North Florida. We can do this in limnology, forestry. We can throw in courses in fisheries management. We have a state fish hatchery over in Malacca. We have a number of private aquaculturists. They can be brought in for lab activities, field trips, and so on. Plus, we have all the North and Central Florida theme parks to provide job placement. This thing just keeps getting bigger and better. And as I say, we've already got the trail blazed for us by Florida Keys, by the College of Florida Keys. So it's all laid out. There's very little pioneering that we have to do. We just have to get everybody on board. And since it is a hospitality program, Dan, as you suggested, we include a culinary component. That would be the most natural thing in the world. And now that I've made my best effort at sounding reasonable, I'm going to go a little bit wild and suggest that we might even consider getting a hold of a bed and breakfast and run that under student labor as part of our operation. I know nothing about that industry. Dan, you're the expert on board. But the Sprague House is sitting right next door to this property. It's had a lot of trouble getting sold, although it's a gem of a property, at least visually. I have no idea what it would be like to actually run that as a bed and breakfast. I understand it has some challenges.
It does.
But the idea of a school running a program with its own laboratory bed and breakfast for students to operate under the ownership of the partnership is something that anchors the program right here, along with the kitchen, the auditorium, the classrooms, and so on. Because one of the dangers that you face when you try to develop an idea like this in a new venue with new partners coming together is having the idea hijacked and taken to one of their sites. In other words, why would St. John's River State College feel the need to buy into this very expensive speculation when they could offer the same courses up there in Palaca. I would think we'd be well advised to develop offerings here that could only be here and play to our strengths. Therefore, not just benefit from the partnership, but require our own membership in the partnership. Give ourselves a trump card to play. So that's how I spent my weekend.
That's fruitful.
An excellent report, thank you. And historically, each community had an inn that was the social center of the community. For Crescent City, the Sprague House was that for a long time. It is nicely located near the site. It has great charm and great possibilities, so I think that's worthy of looking at. Any comments?
Great report, a lot of good thought going into it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jordan.
And how should we proceed?
Well, I think notwithstanding the scolding that BJ got at the commission meeting from the mayor herself, I think we need to proceed with all haste to contact the partners with the concept. I don't think I'm out of line here by suggesting that the commission, the city commission as it stands, does not fully grasp what we're doing or buy into the plan that we have envisioned. And I don't think that they are in a position to conduct those meetings, those conversations. I think we need to do it with their blessing, with their trust, without making obligations, but just as a foray into the concept of this partnership. I think we need to be free to do that. And I would fully endorse BJ as a.
You know, when we go before the city commission to ask them for a contract, that's exactly what we're gonna ask them to do. And perhaps I should not be the only one presenting. Perhaps you should be helping me. We'll talk about that as we move along. But we're going to go to them and say, we'd like you to give us a contract and we're going to perform. And if we don't perform, nobody's forcing you to buy this school. If we do perform, you're going to get the school. And we're going to ask money from the state to help renovate it, bring it up to standard. That's going to be part, and if all these things don't fall into place, then we're not asking you to burden the city with unreasonable financial burdens. That's the story we're going to tell the city. And I don't see why they wouldn't approve it. But we have to tell it in a way that is reasonable and they can understand.
Well stated, John. In regards to the commission meeting, it was clear that the commissioners were just seeking information, which they had a lack of. Of course, it was explained, and BJ, Commissioner Lori, and Commissioner Vito did a good job and a wonderful job in enlightening them. It was also brought to their attention that we just received the review of the title work, which they were aware we've been waiting a long time. So now we're in a position to go forward. And as John pointed out, to communicate with them more often and share the information.
And just keep going.
Yes, oh,
I
absolutely.
was taken aback for 5 minutes, but it's okay.
Well, yes, that's right. Yes.
We go forward.
Well, it was good for them to voice their concerns.
Yeah,
To us.
of course.
And now we can meet those concerns.
Right, and I think too, I mean, we've been working diligently, kind of, and keeping the story here, kind of, you know, our progress between us, because we didn't really have anything to brag about or to talk about, but we have been making progress, and I just don't think they were aware of that, and they thought that, you know, we were done, or should be done. And so I mean, they were enlightened, and I think they were kind of brought up to speed, and I think one of the things that we need to develop as the BRC is a site plan or something like that. I know it's nice that Michael Frank is here today, because I was gonna try and contact you. You know, that original plan that you had done, just the site plan,
Yes.
you've done the school, is there a way that we can update that and kind of make some adjustments to it? Because I think we need to, that would be a really easy way to get the point across that I was trying to make to the mayor at the city commission meeting about what these different buildings could be used for. I thought we had all discussed that, you know, in months past, but I guess I had to kind of give her a vision of what I see. And I think we need to work on that as part of our package, obviously, when we present to the city commission, but that's something I think we need to make a priority, so that people know what we're thinking about doing with this school. So I'll get with you or talk to you after the meeting, if maybe we can, I don't know what program or how you do that.
It's on an AutoCAD program. It's easy enough for me to do. We can huddle up or we can exchange information by email.
Okay. Yeah, I'll probably those. Okay, thank you.
Certainly, yeah.
Because
Thank you, Mr. Frank.
I think if we have that kind of out there so people can see the vision, and I think that's something that we'll be working on too for the story when we present, both to the city and because I think that's, you know, we're concentrating on getting the property, because as, you know, Mr. Miller says, you know, you gotta control the dirt, and I keep hearing that over and over in my head. We're trying to control the dirt, but, you know, the reason we want the dirt is for what's after, but, you know, we have to do it one thing at a time. So it's kind of, just trying to do everything in parallel, and then, you know, not, you know, all at the same time. It's kind of a fun task. But I think that I was trying to make the point when I made my report at the commission meeting that we've been working really hard, we've gotten a lot done, and we've accomplished a lot. And I guess it got kind of twisted into we're tired of working or something. And I don't feel that, and I think that if that was the case, you guys wouldn't be showing up every week. So I think that you guys are dedicated and care a lot about this project, and you agree with me that we're not done yet, and we're making great progress. So I'm happy about it, and I'm glad they gave us until the end of March, so we can continue.
And I think the idea of a site plan showing each building and what might take place in each building is a wonderful thing.
I mean, it's all conceptual anyway, but I mean, just to give people some concepts, some ideas to work with.
Well, and it will be changed as we progress, particularly with the partnerships.
Yes. Oh, thank you.
Any more comments? Thank you. Now, new business, any new business? Other business?
May I offer a few comments?
Yes, Mr. Miller, please.
Good morning. For the record, Danny Miller. Quick comment, if I may, on RHG. As well, those of us who toured the school last week saw the basement of the main building is great square footage. It has a bunch of blocked up windows. that once they're opened up, it lets the light in and will transform the space. Perhaps there's an opportunity to create a lockout basement. Bottom line, lots of opportunity. Then there's a basement for the gymnasium that unfortunately we were unable to view. Point being that, just want to reiterate the comments from last week that when REG returns in January, if not before, we're running out of time, I'd recommend that it's critically important that they do the scanning on those two spaces. The REG meeting, I'm unsure what the format would be. I would hope that it would perhaps occur in this forum so that everyone would have an opportunity for input with REG. No one is more intimate with the project, that property, than you folks. And I think that REG would benefit from that input. To shift, it's amazing as you look back, as I look back to Q1 of 2021, 4 years ago, when the school district held their workshop in January and then voted in February to close the school, and everything that happened from then until where we are now. It's been an amazing evolutionary process. As everyone learns more, as the creative juices get flowing, the opportunities present themselves. And now there's a tremendous amount of momentum that's being built. We all recognize that. The city has supported this effort from all the way back in 2021 when they identified that school as, in getting ownership of that school as a priority. Jim Steggy and I met with Charles in November of 2021 to kind of introduce ourselves, talk to him about the potential for the school. Charles said that the city had identified that ownership of the school as the #1 strategic priority. And so that was visionary. And since then, if we include the 90-day extension granted last week for the BRC, since then, 7 times the commission has unanimously approved moving this project forward. Now, my point of all this is it's an evolutionary process and it's picking up momentum. And since last spring, when the city commission approved the formation of the Blue Ribbon Committee, that evolutionary process was maybe at point B, and all of a sudden it seems we're kind of at point EFG. And so I think that, John, you're absolutely right. It's critically important that communication, effective communication, be ongoing with the city commission. I wasn't here at the meeting. I did watch it online. And what I heard was 3 concerns kind of expressed. One was, had to do with vision, the vision that is evolving. There's been a lot of changes since last spring, and it's kind of grown fuzzy, and that needs to be continuously reinforced to them so that everybody is very clear-eyed as to the exciting possibilities. The other is cost. There seem to be some very, very legitimate concerns on the part of the city, budgetary concerns. And it's certainly no one's, the school districts, the commissions, or this body's intention to impose any kind of a burden on the taxpayer. So it's very important to communicate that to the city commission and the way that these seemingly insurmountable cost obstacles can be scaled. I heard someone mention the partners. that's gonna be a critical element and perhaps, need to, keep the city commission informed on that. And then the last thing that I heard is there seems to be a clear information gap with the city commission as regards process. Commissioner Lowry said it begins with controlling the dirt. He is absolutely right, but that's just the beginning of the game. And then that process flows from that, and it's critically important that the city commission understand just what that process entails. I didn't hear that last week. So somewhere along the line, there's been a disconnect. Last, and kind of on the theme of how this is an evolutionary process, I'd like to express my thanks to Kevin for his work on the potential college program. That's really exciting. And that's not the only possibility for that school. And with those possibilities realized, I think the community at large, and certainly the commission, needs to understand the potentially transformative nature of what this Blue Ribbon Committee is putting together. So thank you so much, folks, for all your hard work on this. These are exciting times. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. I was impressed with the basement under the administration building. And with the, considering it really has been shut up for a long time, the cleanliness of it, you would expect mildew, mold, and there wasn't any evidence of it. As Mr. Miller pointed out, it used to have these wonderful large windows in each room facing east. And facing east is a raised terrace with a retaining wall that can be greatly reduced to create a walkout space for each room and more sunlight. So there's great potential, I believe.
Yeah, we have pictures of the Historical Society of what that used to look like. I mean, there was, like you said, there were big bay windows, or big bay of windows. And I'm not sure when they got rid of all that, but it would make it very different.
If I might add to that, I saw a picture that Cherie had of the reconstruction after the fire in 51 or so. And it appeared that that raised area was not there prior to the fire, and for some reason was added thereafter. So with that raised area removed, I mean, it just transformed that space. I would guess, I'm no architect, but I would guess that wasn't there to begin with, and then later added, it could be easily removed.
It would, particularly allowing the sunlight to come in, which is abundant in that location, as we saw. Anything else? Thank you. Next, we have agenda.
Would it be possible if the items on the agenda were numbered?
I remember you was mentioning that to me, and I was just thinking about that this morning.
Awesome, thank you so
And I
much.
said, oh, she wants hers numbered.
Thank you, Karen.
Just thinking about that this morning.
Next meeting date?
Next year.
What happened to 24? Next two Tuesdays.
And those next 2 Tuesdays were closed.
Yeah, so we discussed.
No
that.
worries. We're not
Discuss that
interested.
We're not interested.
We're with you.
And on the 7th, that next Tuesday, we have a city commission workshop at 3. I mean, I don't have a problem with having, actually I do have a problem with having BRC meeting and then having a workshop later on and then having Rotary. It's a lot for me.
No, for everything.
But I mean, on the 8th, I'm available if you guys want to do the 8th.
How's the 8th for everyone? Is that good?
That's good.
Good with me.
And that also will John and I will be able to meet with the superintendent on the 2nd, so we'll have something to add and talk about.
Yes, okay.
So,
So our next meeting will be next year, on January
Same time again.
8th, same time?
that sounds great, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate you coming.
Yes, Mr. Our pleasure.
I'm sorry, I should have brought this up during other business. I haven't seen it discussed or in the meeting minutes that I've reviewed. I think we should do an analysis of what the utility and the expenses are for the city hall and the little annex building.
It was already done.
It's already done?
It was done, I think, right at the beginning of all of this.
Oh, okay.
It was 48,000 to run this and the annex, and it's $100,000 to run, but they're running right now at the school,
At the school? Okay.
the baking.
Well, great work by you guys again. Thank you.
Karen, what was that figure for over here?
Over here was 48,000.
48,000
Yeah, it was like
approximately?
49,000 for here and the annex,
Is that-
and the school was like 100,000.
Did we break it
Less
down
than
per
100,000.
square footage?
Yeah, what,
No,
is that,
We have this much
is that
square footage.
is that just for electricity or is that?
it's the school being vacant.
I know
right now.
I know the school part, we have that broken down, but the stuff for the city, we don't have broken down on costs, like
No,
property insurance and, utilities and that kind of thing. Do we have?
so but it's not broken down for the school either, so is that what you're,
No, it is broken down for the school. You gave it to us, and the school district gave it to us. We have it for 4 years, broken down as far as utilities,
Yeah.
property insurance, maintenance costs. And what he's asking for and what we need is for City Hall, for the city complex here.
Yeah, for the city hall and the annex and
I don't
any other
understand
little
why.
buildings that we own and occupy, and then do it on a square footage
Yeah, 'cause that's what
percentage. That's
Oh, my
apples
assistant
to
helped me
apples.
with that.
I mean, I can work with Steve on it. That's fine. We're not asking for that. I just thought we had it somewhere. I know
But I thought
Sean,
you were just looking for the totals, I apologize.
No, that's okay. That's why we're having that.
Our internet and our phones, I know, were $3,285, that much I know. That much I know.
Yeah, but all
I just been working with.
Yes, Mr. Miller.
As we all rapidly realize, the raw numbers mean little, and analysis of those numbers so that we are comparing apples and apples per square foot basis is perfect,
Excellent.
is critically important, and that should be part of any presentation to the city at some point, because that gets into operational costs, which is kind of the third leg of the cost concern after acquisition costs, rehab costs, and we've got to operate things on a sustainable basis going forward. So an analysis is critical. Perhaps if there's anybody on the Blue Ribbon Committee with terrific math skills that might help with that.
I don't think it takes terrific math skills. Basic arithmetic, but at the face of it, it looks like if we moved the city government offices over there, we'd be halfway to covering the carrying costs.
Yeah.
If we don't look too closely, then. Yeah.
Right.
I missed that last one, might be a good thing. Other than to say, I would respectfully suggest that the $100,000 that the school district is currently spending, that there is an opportunity to materially affect that number to the better. And I'll give you one example. Several occasions when I've had occasion to be down there in empty buildings, the air conditioners are just merrily running away as if there's students still going in and out of those buildings.
So that's control.
As if it's still on the timer, still on the program. So it's not being manage with a keen eye on the bottom line.
But that's what's controlling the mold and mildew situation.
Right, well, no, they can still be on, but they don't need to be running at 74 degrees,
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, you set a humidistat instead of a thermostat.
Well, in fact,
And it should all be.
the resorts I managed, they were shut down for 6 months or less. And we'd even run them continually in all rooms. We rotated it, a week on, a week off. And some we only did once a month.
And then, I mean, you can have it set to 80 or 82 or something, it'll just run and take the humidity out, it does not.
That's a better approach.
Yeah. And actually, and I know from our experience, when we had the archive down there, that all the ACs were computer controlled from a central point, I'm assuming Malacca. So I think we might, that's something that we can discuss with them, because they don't need to be running as much as they are, for sure.
We also monitored it. And if there wasn't a need for a month, they weren't on. If the room's got plenty of natural sunlight, that took care of a lot.
And there too, with the temperature settings, it should be 68 to bring on the heat and 78 to bring on the air. And I don't know what our city has for thermostat settings here, but that's what it should be. That's what
That's what the
the
county said.
standards is.
The school board setting is 68, 78.
78,
That's all,
thank you,
all
Ron.
computer control.
Good to know.
Good to know, yeah.
And obviously, the figure of holding, now at the utility, the cost of 100,000 a year for all 90,000 square footage,
That's right.
when we occupy, the city would only be responsible for a portion of it. Not all 90,000.
Plus the property the city owns now would be back on the tax
Yes.
rolls. Because it's beautiful
Yes.
commercial property.
It just keeps getting better.
It does.
Absolutely.
Any further comments?
One more thing.
Yes.
This progress report, Commissioner Wiley to do this,
I'm sorry?
this progress report.
Yes, it did.
Thank you so much for that. I
Oh,
appreciate
okay,
that. It's
you're welcome.
great, so.
I'm good.
Excellent job.
You didn't find a lot of typos or anything? I tried. I can't prove my own work, but Rachel was doing it with me, so she usually,
I can't either.
yeah.
I'm
I mean,
excellent
no,
with
it's
other
just,
people.
that's a human thing, yeah, you can't read your own stuff. But, she was actually typing, I was telling her what to type and then watching her type, so that kind of helps.
Thank you for that.
But,
Good job.
And Commissioner Lori, you did this for this meeting?
I did that for the commission last week.
You passed this out to the commission?
Yeah, they all got that last week, yes.
Oh, I see.
So that was just the progress report, so I tried to encapsulate everything that was going on. I don't think I read it all, so I don't know where they would have probably been more supportive, but.
Well, I'd like to thank Commissioner Lori again for the family work with the committee to the commission. It's a very important role. I appreciate it.
No, I appreciate
It is,
you
good to
guys.
hear.
Yes. You guys come, showing up every week, it's, it encourages me, so, thank you.
Is there a motion to adjourn? So moved.
Second.
Second. Our meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Until next year, see you next year.
Yes.
I'll see some of you before next year.
Merry
Christmas. Good to see you.
Thank you.